How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. This is the What's Up Eddie channel, Divine Therapy Sessions, and of course, I'm the one and only Eddie. So glad to have you guys back, and these are my Divine Therapy Sessions. Hey guys, don't mind the background, solid white wall. I'll eventually get some stuff back there. So we are talking about the title of being chosen, right? And that is all that it is, a label, but I do believe that it has a profound experience attached to it. Now, when we think about it, there's different names for this, right? And so I said in my last video, just kind of an introduction as to what it means, right? Where it comes from, and my ideas on the actual topic of us resonating with being chosen, right? Okay, so what I want to say first and foremost is the labels, right? And you think about different time periods in which we feel as though we're chosen. Now you think about what are the characteristics of a person that is chosen, right? And you think about people like that are enlightened, they have a message that they want to get across, and they're able to get it across in ways that are very above average, right? And so they're able, and able to do that, you have to be multi-talented, right? Multi-gifted. So it just depends on how you want to say it, what time period you're in, because you think about, like, I like to reference Jesus Christ, right? The time period that he was in, he was a healer, right? And we notice that today in our, sorry, my camera. So we notice that today in the aspect of spirituality, like Reiki healing, which is a modality healing with your hands, right? So in actuality, just because, or when we think about Jesus Christ, he was most likely using Reiki, and we see that go into different cultures, right? Reiki's coming from, I believe it's Japan, right? I might be getting that wrong, but I think that that's what it is. So depending on what part of the world you're coming from, where you're at, within your spiritual development, your journey, right? So you might be church going, so you may not talk about it in the way that I'm talking about it, right? But what I like to tell you, the viewer, is that there is no difference between any of it. Only that we have made the labels different. We're all experiencing it in a different way, but it's under the same umbrella, the same spectrum, right? And so I just love to find the similarities in things now, as opposed to finding the differences, because the difference is going to keep us away from each other. And I believe when we put the mind together, or the people together, we empower each other. We become more powerful. And in my experience, the one of the most vital lessons that we can have here on Earth is the experience of being in service to another human being. So I believe that there's a 60-40 rule. If you're 60% in service to others and 40% in service to yourself, that's a great combination to have, right? Because you have different, I would say, different ways in which this spiritual journey, because I'm on the spiritual journey now, right? Where I've awakened, I'm enlightened, and now I'm enlightening others. And there's a lot more to go. There's a lot more studying to do, and there's a lot more life experience that I have to experience, but I'm definitely well on my way, right? I've found my purpose, my path, and I may not have found it perfectly, but I've definitely got a good idea to what it's going to be like. So, and that actually goes into manifestation as well, right? So like, you'll find within your journey, there's multiple criterias. I guess I would say that once you get to one level, there's multiple lessons that you need to learn at that level. And then you get to the next level and the next level, and it's on and on and on. I think that it goes limitless, because if you start out with the underworld, going all the way to us, and then going into the ethers to God, there's many layers to it, right? I believe here is where we learned a certain part about ourselves. And one of the major things that I've found is that separation is one of the huge things, right? And within that separation, I feel like it's an experience in which we find an individuality. yes, I believe that individuality is good, but when you have this experience, this spiritual awakening of sorts, you start to realize that we're all the same, and there is no difference, and that we're all energy at the end of the day. And it's just an amazing, I would say, an amazing experience. But getting back to the subject at hand, chosen, right? So I would say, depending on the time period that you're in, or what you know, or what you've been brought up with, the social and educational programming that we have is going to dictate on how you see this information. So you can either call it an evangelist, a disciple, apostle. You can say he's enlightened, he's awakened. So there's different ways to go about this, right? So just being chosen is one way of saying all those things, right? Now, if you're on my channel, you've had some sort of spiritual awakening. You're starting to see the world in a way that you never thought was possible before. I know for myself, I didn't see it the way that I see it now. I was plagued by what I like to call the earthly programming, the earthly sins. So for me, I was bogged down in here. I was mentally imprisoned because of my habits. And so that means I was binded and chained to the earth platform. I could not break out of the matrix. And that's why you hear that. Like, I can't, he's in the matrix, right? He's within the 3D. How do you get to the 4D, 5D, right? The only way that that's possible is that you're going to start to have some realizations. And I definitely believe that, because there are going to be people on this earth that don't awaken. And it's not for you to go and judge them. It's just where they're at in their evolutionary journey experience. So I would say this, you guys. This is a beautiful time period for this, because once you realize that you are chosen, and it's a very difficult, I say that it's very difficult to actually even come to the place to say that you are a person that has been chosen by the divine, by God, right? Or by universe, whatever you want to call the one that's in control of everything. Because if you're on this spiritual journey, you believe in something like that. So I believe this, that it takes a certain amount of inner work, and that inner work being trauma work, because within our lives, you've gone through some trauma, right? That has made us closed off to ourselves, not giving ourselves love, and then closed off to other people, not giving them love. And so how we treat the outside world is the inner reflection of ourselves. And in order for you to start loving yourself, and actually, I call it assuming the title of being chosen, because you are chosen. Now, if you identify as a starseed was another one, a light worker. So I consider myself a light worker. I feel as though that I'm from a different place than here. Ever since I've been here, it's been extremely uncomfortable for me. And so, like, if you resonate with the light worker or the starseed, or you resonate with just being chosen, one of the titles that I like is Golden, the Golden Children, Golden Child. I do resonate with that. And so our crystal, Indigo Children. So depending on like I explained in the beginning, there are no borders or labels within my teaching methods on my channel. So if you hear any of those, I'm just kind of umbrelling it in a broad general way of what I'm trying to talk about, right? But I definitely believe that it takes us a large amount of work that needs to be done. And you can find yourself doing that in multiple ways, right? You can go do that like go getting therapy, talking about your issues, finding out, that it doesn't make you, that it's a part of you, it's a part of your story, but the person that you are today you don't have to react towards people or yourself because of what has happened to you. It's very difficult to do. The way that I did this work, I actually did this through Alcoholics Anonymous, right? So like sobriety is a huge part of my story, because like I said, I was binded to this earth platform, or within the constructs of I guess the matrix in a lesser way of saying it, because I could not break out. I was so wrapped up in my pain and the fact that I didn't like the way I felt here on earth, right? And that has a lot to do with my circumstances of how I grew up as a child, right? I was abused, and then I grew up and I went from one home to another not feeling like I was welcomed. And that did something to me mentally and to my character, and that abuse molded me into the person that I was. And you guys, that I stood within that process all the way up to my 30s. I'm 34 years old now, right? So I got sober when I was 33. So what does that tell you? It takes us a long time to even get to the point to even say, wow, I am chosen. And today I can sit here before you and tell you that I know I'm chosen by God. And so I believe that whenever we approach anything, we have to come to the place of assuming the title. And once you do, you acknowledge it. And I've been talking about angel numbers a lot. I just posted I have a TikTok, you guys. Check out my TikTok. I will actually put my name. I think it's at Eddie Sotelo 1111. Go figure, right? Angel number 111, which is probably something that you guys resonate with. Make sure you guys are looking up your angel numbers. I always say that it's something that has changed my life because it changed the course, because I feel as though that these numbers come in very random ways, but in actuality, I don't believe that there is any randomness to it, even if it seems that way. There's no coincidences. I believe everything is happening in an exact way that it's supposed to. I feel like there's a blueprint that we follow. I do believe that there's subjects that can change, but I do believe that those messages are meant for us to implement in our life so we can live a more fulfilled, progressive life, right? And all I do, the only reason why I do this stuff, you guys, is to awaken your mind so you can start treating your body right, your soul, your heart space, and then treat others with the same respect. And within that process, you'll begin to learn other beautiful things, right? You'll be able to learn to manifest. You'll be able to listen to those angel numbers, and what will happen? You'll be able to manifest. You'll be able to know when impending danger is going to happen, right? Because the universe is always talking to you, always. Okay, so getting back to it. So I think the most difficult part is the acknowledgement, but once you do so, things begin to change. I believe that the criteria that you have to follow after that, there are some, I would say, is like, you're gonna, and you'll only know this because you're the one that's walking this journey. But if you find yourself resonating with what I'm saying, what does it look like? You know, it's going to be like a broad, it's not super specific, but I guess broad statements in which the characteristics of what that looks like. You may be experiencing psychic experiences, right? Whether that be clairaudience, clairvoyance, clairsentient. I think there's many clairs, but you guys do your research and figure out what your experiences you're having. Are you experiencing the ringing in the ear, the thumping sound, or the vibrating sound, right? Which is you're experiencing a shift within energy. We're not taught these things. I've been experiencing these symptoms, or these actually psychic experiences, for a very long time, but I didn't know what they were because no one has taught me, and the people around me didn't know the knowledge either, right? So when these are called spiritual gifts, and if you're chosen, you have them. So there is things such as telepathy, right? There's communication from one individual to another through waves, right? There is, you might be having dreams where in fact you are seeing prophetic dreams, right? Or you're seeing visions during. So the difference being your prophetic is happening within your dream state, and your waking dream state, which is the actual right now going on, you're having visions, right? You're able to see an occurrence happen within an event. Or let's say that you are picking, your intuition is high level intuition, and you're able to pick up on a lot of different things, body language. Intuition has many different, I always preach about intuition. It's one of the most beautiful things that we have as a human. It is a superpower. You are able to pick up on things that, with a developed intuition, you can literally it can save your life. And literally it can aid you through this whole process. And so when you start to trust your intuition, it gets a lot easier and a lot better. But yeah, so those are some of the I would say the gifts or powers that a chosen person has, right? So you might be experiencing it. Those are the things you're experiencing within your life. Give yourself a pat on the back, hug, thank the heavens, right? If you can't say heavens or God, think spirit, think the guides that are around you, think the angels, whatever you resonate with. Giving thanks is proper. So, and what I just taught you right now is another lesson, right? We have to abide by a different structure of rules, different outside of what the matrix asks, because we do know this. And this is where I believe that, like, I don't think that, sometimes we talk to people that are just spiritual and don't resonate with the church. And sometimes we have church don't resonate with that. I believe that it's all the same thing. We're all branching off of original ideas that are ancient wisdom, coming from all the way back to like Egypt, right? Which was, they have technology that was highly advanced, more advanced than us, right? And though we live in the concrete jungle and then we act as though we are further advanced, we're not. We're advanced in a lot of ways, but if you really think about it, all of these spiritual principles and values and concepts come from an ancient wisdom, an ancient time. So think about that. Think about it like that, is that like we're all umbrellaed under the same things, right? All right, so I would say this, you guys, and the video has gone on a little bit longer than I wanted it to, but I just really want you guys to be introduced to what that title means, and that like it is just a title, and that if you are going through this portion of your life and you're recognizing that you have all this criteria going on, it's a beautiful time period for you. But you do have a walk of life that's coming up next that will be difficult, but I promise you that when you break through this barrier of fear, self-loathing, or you're blaming your external, or you have mental health issues, or you have addictions, all those things are just barriers to what you are, your true self. And I promise you that it's completely worth it to go for this journey, right? I don't know what it is that you're doing, right? For me, it took me to drop my ego and be able to make these videos, to be able to be of service for other people and to teach them that, and I teach people in my own different way, right? Of what I believe a starseed is, what I believe a light worker does. And I only know it by the experiences that I have. And I have my tribe out there that's either here right now or waiting for me, right? So you might have your own tribe. You might want to make a YouTube channel, or you want to make your own business that is a healthier lifestyle, right? One of the implements of that makes the whole of the spiritual journey, right? The spiritual awakening, because it's a leveling or an equalization of the three parts that I always talk about: the mind, the body, and the soul, right? And we have to balance those things out for us to be and receive the messages and implement those messages within our life experience. But when we do that, wow, that's when things really begin to get hot for us, right? And so what an exciting time period it is for all of us. But you guys, I put the message out there, man. Always go for your dreams. You are limitless. We are limitless spiritual beings, but we're having a human experience. So we have to acknowledge the temple, the body. And when we do those things, you guys, I promise you, you can accomplish anything. You can manifest the dream life that is yours waiting for you. But you have to abide by a certain amount of rules. And so that's what I'm going to get to in the next video. I'm going to teach you guys what are the rules that we as chosen people from God, or chosen people from the universe, what do we have to abide by? It's going to be a very hot video. All right, guys, I'll catch you guys in the next one. I love you guys. Make sure to subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. All right, guys.